What is good, everyone? Welcome to this video. I'm Charlie from Conscious Creation, and in this video I would like to share with you some things I think you should know if you are deciding to do ayahuasca for the first time yourself. Before I start this video, I'm not claiming to be an expert in plant medicine, and I'm no shaman. I'm just simply sharing with you my first experience so it can give you some insights if you are deciding to do it for the first time for yourself as well. So I'm going to start off talking a little bit about what ayahuasca is. Ayahuasca stands for vine of the soul, and there are two main ingredients within it. You've got that of the Capri vine and that of DMT. And the purpose of the Capri vine is to help stop the DMT from being dissolved in your stomach so you can go along and have this psychedelic experience and this journey. For me, I did this journey in that of the Netherlands, and we did it over a 5-day period. And there are some key things that I learned from doing this experience. And the first thing I would recommend if you are deciding to do this is you want to make sure that you're doing it with the right people and in the right environment, because when you take this plant medicine, you don't always have a lot of control over the things that come up for you and the things that you have to go through. So it's really important to make sure that you're around people who are going to look after you if you need it. And you also want to make sure that the medicine has been sourced properly, because if the medicine has been sourced properly, it's much more likely to have a positive effect on you. The second thing that I would highly recommend is to have an intention behind actually doing the plant medicine. It's not really for that of recreational purposes, is you should have an intention behind it. So whether it be a healing, or you want some guidance on your path, or you want some questions answered, one of my intentions was to help clear something called ancestral karma. And this is basically karma that has been passed down from generation to generation. And before I did the plant medicine, I was told that one of the things that was blocking me in my life was this ancestral karma. So that was one of my intentions. So we started about 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening, and we were in this big room, and there was about 25 people, and we were all together. We had our own little beds and our buckets, and we would take a shot of DMT and a shot of ayahuasca. It didn't taste very nice, if I'm totally honest. It did not taste nice at all. Anyway, we would take these shots and we would start to go on our own little journey. It could kick in as quickly as 5 to 10 minutes, or it could kick in as long as half an hour to an hour. And this journey would usually last about 3 or 4 hours. And then we would have a booster or a top up. So we would have another shot of DMT and another shot of ayahuasca. And we would continue this process till about 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. And we did this for 5 days. So you can start to see that it was actually quite intense. And the first trip for me was a very enjoyable and blissful experience. And I thought to myself, if the rest of them are going to be like this, this is going to be a lot of fun. But I knew that my intention was to have a healing. So I did not think that was going to be the case. And I was proved correct on the second ayahuasca night. And I took the medicine and I started to go through this deep healing. When you go through this healing, many things can happen to you. Some people purge, some people even scream, and they're releasing this density, this heaviness from the body. And you're also working with Mother Earth, because this plant medicine is sourced from her. And she is a celestial being, and she is highly intelligent. So when you take this medicine, she knows exactly what you need in order to heal. She knows exactly what you need at that time. And she's going to show it right in front of you what you need to see. And sometimes these things can be uncomfortable, or they can be scary, and we often have the inclination to want to run away. But when we're on the ayahuasca, we can't do that. So one of the things that I learned is, if something uncomfortable comes up, is you want to stay with it and you want to acknowledge it and sit with it and almost dive more into it instead of trying to go away from it. a really good technique was actually simply dropping into your heart space as well and learning to be more present with what was going on in front of you. And usually if it's an uncomfortable experience, if you're able to do this, it will pass much quicker. Also, one of the things that the plant medicine was trying to tell me was to release more control in my life. And I knew there was an element of this, and I talk about this in my manifestation videos, the idea of letting go. But it was trying to give me all this information that I thought was so valuable, and I was trying to grab that information. And it was like trying to grab smoke with my bare hands, and what it was trying to tell me was to enter more of the flow state and allow things to come to me. On the third day of the ayahuasca, we decided to have a mini adventure, to have a bit more fun with this, and we decided as a group that we would take the ayahuasca and we wanted to venture to a nearby woodland, because the place that we were in, it was very isolated. There was only one main road going through the place, and so we were going to take this medicine and venture up to this woodland, which we started to do. Now for me, on this particular trip, it kicked in hard and it kicked in fast. And about 5 minutes after walking towards the woodland I started to go on my own journey, and I needed to take a nap on the sidewalk for about 5 or 10 minutes because my body was shutting down. Anyway, I got helped up and we decided to carry on towards the woodland, and as we got closer and closer, more and more people were starting to go on their own little journey, and we started to realize that this wasn't the best idea in the world, so we started to make our way back. And at this point for me I was no longer connected to my body. It was kind of functioning on its own, and I actually needed help to be carried back, which was an interesting experience. But after these 5 days, is what I started to see in people is, yes, they had gone through this quite intense journey for some people, but they had done a lot of this deep healing, and they were able to integrate that healing into their everyday life. And this is how it can be so valuable, because many of the things we try and attract in our life is we're unable to, because we have these unhealed parts within ourselves. So when you go on the ayahuasca and you experience this deep healing, when you then integrate it into your life, people have these profound shifts in their life, which can obviously make things much better for them. So these are just a few of my recommendations if you are deciding to take the plant medicine. Usually people feel called to it, but I hope this has helped give you some sort of insight. So thank you for watching. Peace. Take care.